Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's another great day here at Motorsports. We are glad to be having a great guest visit us today. And we are at his workshop. As you can see behind him, there's some autocross cars. Oh, am I saying it right?
Cats.
Autocross cars.
They're cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not autocross cats, they're cats.
Oh, they're cats.
Yes.
Yes. It's always a learning process in the sports world, and we get to learn new things each and every day. And definitely we shall be learning a lot today about motorcross, motorsport, sorry, and also we shall be learning more about the coming World Rally Championship 2022. Indeed, we've had the Equator Rally just ended the last weekend, and also we shall just be talking a little bit about that. And it's a great honor for me to invite to you our guest today, Mr. Norris Ongalo.
Just to correct you, Norris.
Yes, Norris.
Norris Ongalo. Yeah, but I hear that a lot, so
you hear that
I'm used to it. Yeah.
We are always baptizing you with new names.
Oh yes. Yes. Some even call me Doris.
Doris.
They know themselves. Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for being here. I can imagine how tough the few weeks ago were, and we really appreciate giving us this time of your busy schedule.
Not a problem. Any time for matter safety. That's our passion, and specifically motorsport safety.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So just to start us off, maybe briefly you could tell us some history of motorsport in the country or the region, if you want to get to the region.
I'm really not the best person to talk about the history of motorsports, but I know, man. The rally began around about 1953. It was a leisure thing. Guys coming together for the Queen. But that eventually is what culminated to East African Rally, and then eventually to what we have now as the Safari Rally. We know that we've had Safari Rally for a bit, for up to 2002. That's when we lost it, and we've been out for 19 years until we got it back last year. Yeah, so that's what I can tell you. Yeah,
that's some really good stuff, at least to break the ice. And speaking of losing it, how tough was it trying to get it back?
Yeah, I mean, for the 19 years we've been away, rally it's really evolved. Before we lost it, you'd do 3,000, 4,000 clicks, and it would run for a longer period. It to run during the day and night.
Yeah.
And there was nothing like going through a place more than once. It will go through a place only once, and it will traverse the wider parts of the region, of the country.
Yeah.
But that changed eventually. Now rally runs within a closed area, a specific area, and it recirculates around the service park. During those days, service park would keep moving. You would service your vehicle on the road and stuff. Now that has changed. And again, of course, that's the sporting side of it had evolved, but also the commercial part of it had evolved. And we now have the WRC promoter, and of course their role is to promote the event, and there's a commercial angle to it. So for us to get it, we had to first of all demonstrate that we have the roots, and this everybody knew that we still have the roots. We had the roots, and we had the organization skills. But also we needed to demonstrate that we had goodwill from the government, and that came out really strongly. And I think that was really the pivotal part of decision making, that the government who came out strong, led by the patron of the Safari Rally, His Excellency the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, and we thank him for it. And he's been passionate through and through. That really was the impetus in us getting it back. Not to forget, of course, Phineas and the team really worked hard, because he also had to demonstrate that look here, from the Kenya Motorsports Federation's point of view, that we were ready and we had the personnel and the resources to run it.
And just to take this opportunity on behalf of all rally fans, just to say a great thank you for that process. It was hard behind the scenes. There was sleepless nights at times to a few members of your team, and we really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
And we're trusting in God that we get it extended by the grace of God once the contract is almost dying out.
We already have it up to 2026.
Awesome.
It is not just a blank check. We have to work for it.
Yep.
Yeah. So every year we got to really make sure we are on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So specifically, individually to you, when is your first time did you get involved with motorsport?
Oh, well, I don't know whether that's when I started getting involved in motorsports when we were young, and during Easter we knew Safari Rally would do our own vehicles and would have our own estate races. I don't know that is motorsports, but in itself, that's where the bug began. But actively I got into motorsports in 2006. I met two brothers, Azza Anwar and Asad Anwar, and that changed my view of motorsport. And of course I also came to meet Patrick Njiru, and this is really courtesy of my good friend Ken Masoni. I know he will kill me if I don't mention him. Yeah, so thank you, Ken Masoni. And through that, that's when I got proper into a rally car. And the first time I got into a rally car was Asad Anwar's Evo. My goodness.
When Evo was
Evo. My God, it was something else. But after that, I just wanted to sit in. I wanted to be part of puzzle of motorsports. Yeah, so we got involved in a couple of races. I sat with Azza, I sat with Asad, I sat with Robert Gao. I sat with Charles Hinga, just to mention a few. Yeah.
So how has been the transitioning for you from the hot seat now to operations and all these things? How has been the growth process of the sport from that time to now, technologically and all these things?
From the last time I sat, and I think the person I last sat with was Minesh Rathod. And then moved into management of it. You see, it's important for us to see when we're organizing, for us to see it from both perspectives, to see it from the driver's perspective and also see it from the organizer's perspective. Yeah, so I think the fact that I was on the other side of the divide helps me understand the needs of the drivers when we're organizing the event. And one of the key needs of the organizers is to ensure that they can drive with full commitment, knowing that the roads are clear, the roads are safe. So that now becomes a very interesting part that I enjoy to do.
That you enjoy fully.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe if you can tell a viewer or viewers who are watching who don't understand the different disciplines in Kenya motorsport. Before now we get to the famous words that we hear these days, ARC, WRC, and explaining how the two are linked up, if that happens, because in other sporting events or other sport disciplines, like for example basketball, we have a lower tire qualifies to a higher tire, to the premier tire, and now premier tire leads you out to the zonal tires and Africa regional tires, now to the global tires.
I think your question is in two folds. You talked about disciplines. In disciplines, we've got a number. We've got the famous rally. We also call it rally sport. And this is what we all know. The WRC is a rally, ARC is a rally. So it's basically drivers participating, moving from one point to another, and whoever does it at the fastest. And in between, we have a service that they would service the vehicles. It can run in multiple legs. It can run in multiple sections. And it can run in multiple stages. That's a rally. And then we have Autocross. Autocross, it is, again, you can be a rally or buggies that are running on a dusty surface, and they're running in a circuit. It could be a single circuit or a dual circuit like we have in Kasarani, and again the fastest, and then they do a couple of heats, and then they do amalgamation of whoever had the fastest runs within the amalgamated heats. We also have karting. Karting now, that's what you see behind. These are karts. This is similar to this a mini Formula One, so to speak.
Yeah.
So these ones, these are four-wheel vehicles that run on asphalt. They run on tarmac, and it's a circuit as well.
Yeah.
They also have heats, and whoever does the heats the fastest wins. We also have raid. Raid is similar to Paris Dakar, for example.
Yeah.
With Dakar, so you have coordinates where you have to hit those coordinates. You have to go through those coordinates. You're given coordinates, you don't know where they are, so you have to find your way to those points the fastest. And whoever gets to the other side, having gone through all the coordinates, all the points, wins.
Okay.
That's raid. We also have 4x4. 4x4 is these are serious, tough terrains, short, slow driving, but you have to make yourself across the other side through those tough terrains. Yeah. So just to mention a few, but we also have 2x2, for motocross. These are bikes, again on a course.
Yeah.
So those are the disciplines I could have. I think there's a new one now. We've got tarmac now. We have tarmac racing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've got the famous Kiamburing type. We've got drag, and we've got we've got the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now just getting to your speciality right now, which is safety. You as okay, I know your role. Maybe the viewers don't know your role. Maybe you can just tell them about what role you play in the current motorsport, Kenya Motorsport.
I have 3 roles in Kenya Motorsports. The first role is I am the Chief Safety Officer for WRC Safari Rally. That means organizing, putting together a safety plan. But before you come up with a safety plan, you've got to do lots of risk assessment on the routes. You need to assess the needs to mitigate those risks, and they have to implement it during the event. So that's for safety. That's for the chief safety officer's role. Of course, you do that with a team.
Yeah.
And the second role I have is that of the chairman of the Kenya Motorsports Safety Commission. This means that we look through all the disciplines and matters to do with safety of drivers, safety of spectators, safety, general safety when all these disciplines are running. So we meet only once a quarter to evaluate past events and see what else we can do for the sports moving forward, matters safety.
Yeah.
And then the third role I play is that I am also a member of the karting commission. Also that means administrative and management and stewardship of karting as a sport, and making sure that we abide to the national competition regulations.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe if you can now speak, most spectators or most people don't get to understand how important safety is in motorsport and in Safari Rally specifically, because that's where we have a large number of people coming out to interact and get to watch the sport. So if you could just speak on just the basics or anything that you'd want to wish to be out there in regards to safety of the coming rallies ahead.
Safety is common sense.
Yeah.
That's my first and simple way of looking at safety. It's common sense.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yes.
If I'm putting a bulb up there, I can decide to step on, pails and go and change the bulb. But I can decide, look here, is that a safe way of doing it? Yeah. Or is there a ladder that I can use? If I don't have a ladder, do I have a stable base that I can use?
Yes.
So it's basically common sense. Yeah. And if you have to translate that to our way of life, so safety is supposed to be our way of life. You have to look at it from a safe point of view before you can look at it from a commercial point of view. Yeah. And even from a business point of view, I say safety is business. That's from a business point of view. I don't do motorsports every day. Yeah. So on the business part of it, for me, safety is business. If it's not safe, I don't even bother to do it.
Yeah.
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 So from a motorsports point of view is that, and our slogan is Tufike Salama, which means Safari Rally, for example, has to be safe before it's fun.
True.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when we say it's safe before it's fun, we don't want to dilute the fun part of it. But what we do is that we look at it from a safe point of view before we look at it from a fun point of view.
Yeah.
So we say, look, your fans, you're going to want to enjoy this event, but we're going to tell you the best places to enjoy. You still have good points where you can settle, watch the event, but still be safe. Because we want you to go back to your families.
Yes.
We don't want anybody hurt at all. Nobody should go back home without a finger that he came with.
Yeah.
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 So that's what we say. It's a simple thing.
Yeah.
So Tufike Salama means wherever you're going, whether I'm going home, whether I'm going to the rally, it's a basic concept. Make sure you just get home safe. Make sure you get to your destination safe. That means for you to get to your destination safe, you always have to be safe wherever you are. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for rally fans, our simple thing is, let's follow the instructions of the marshals, of the officials who are on the ground. And these people, we have invested a lot of time in training them to help you be in a safe point. And these are only the final piece of the planning. Okay, there's a lot of planning that already has gone behind it.
Yep.
Yeah. So Fika Salama basically just get to abide to what the marshal is telling you.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Yes. So in case of an emergency, let's say tushafika salama from our various points of origin to rally, maybe a spectator stage or something. In case of an emergency, we have now the hybrid cars. What are some of the do's and don'ts on what we shouldn't do? Something has happened, maybe a car's rolled out of the course or something. What should the spectators not do at all, and what should the spectators do?
I think in the first WRC event, I think this was in Monaco, we saw an accident involving, was it Fomu?
Yeah.
It flipped. It was a bad roll.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have to remember that these WRC vehicles are now running a hybrid system. So they're running a battery that is a 740 volts, and they're also running a normal combustion engine. Yeah, so there are times when they would deploy the battery to run the vehicle. There was a time where they would deploy the combustion engine to run the car. But there's a lot of, first of all, it's important for us to say that the technology around the battery is an old technology. It's been there for a while, but it's not really been put to test significantly in matters motorsport. So these are all uncharted ground. So we will move as we discover. But we already have picked up some inherent risks that the battery would have. But it's important also to say this, that much as there are risks, and you see when you're analyzing a risk, you analyze it based on the likeliness of it to occur versus the severity.
Yeah.
So if the likeliness is high and the severity is high, definitely that's a high risk. But also, if the severity is high and the likeliness is no, it's still something for us to consider. Yeah. And that's what these batteries are. Okay. These batteries are low and they're unlikely to fail. Or to be hazardous, but when they are hazardous, the severity is very high. So that's what we have to address. And what are the risks? 3. The first risk is, because being a 740 volts battery, then there's a chance of electrocution.
Wow.
There's a chance that you may, 50 volts is good enough to electrocute someone.
Yeah.
So this is 740.
740.
So there's a chance. But there are mitigations around it. The box is, the battery is in a box that can withstand up to 70 Gs of force.
Wow.
And it's intact. You don't even see wires running all over. Those famous orange wires that you would see on a lithium battery, you can't even see those. So it's intact. So electrocution part of it has been mitigated to some extent, but there is the chance that it can happen, much as it's remote.
Yeah.
So we have to mitigate that. The second risk is on fires. These batteries, being chemical based, there comes a time when they can start getting hot. How many times do you charge your battery, your phone, and you feel like the phone is hot? It's the same thing. Your phone is also a lithium-based battery. It has a lithium-based battery. So it's the same concept. So these batteries can start getting hot, and it could be one reason or another. The problem is that when they tilt to a certain level, they start getting hotter exponentially, and that's what we call a thermal runaway. That means it's very difficult for them now for the temperatures to be brought down, and therefore it results into a fire. Now, should there be a fire as a result of a thermal runaway, or as a result of even the car burning, that's a different story. Because for you to extinguish that fire, you need 12,000 liters of water minimum.
Whoa.
2 fire engines minimum. So you can imagine. So if that car sinks in a water in the lake, you're better off leaving it there. Because if you remove it now, you actually have introduced other challenges. Okay. So the third risk is a risk of when the car has caught fire, or when it has experienced thermal runaway, it starts emitting toxic gases. These are nitrate-based gases. So you have 3 risks that we have to mitigate. So imagine a car of that Formo's car, if it had gotten burned, or if it had experienced a thermal runaway, what would have happened? We need to safeguard the drivers. We need to safeguard the guys who come in to rescue. So the first thing is in matters rescue is the rescuer must be safe before he can rescue. So mitigate them, give them scuba gas masks, give them what you call conductive suits or conductive wear. That's gloves that can withstand over 1,000 volts, so that they also are safe. You probably need to ground the floor. Where they'll be operating. So that, and then you also need to insulate the vehicle. So that the medics, when they go into a vehicle that is insulated. So this is a game-changing thing. The new hybrids is a game changer. But that said, there are also other pointers of the car. We have 3 lights. There's a light at the front windscreen, and there are like 1 each on each side of the sides. When it's green, it's safer to approach. But we still do not encourage people to approach. But when it's red, it's a no-go zone completely. But to be safe, whether it's green or red, it's a no-go zone to spectators. It's a no-go zone to even marshals. We leave it for the experts to come and manage it. The only exception is when the car is on fire. If the car is on fire, the first thing is we need to get the drivers out. That's the only exception. Other than that, leave it for the experts to manage. For WRC Kenya Safari Rally, our default mode of medical evacuation is by chopper. So immediately we see this from rally control, that we see the impact is high, we deploy the chopper. Even before, we would expect the chopper to be there before the intervention vehicles are there. So for us, if there's anything, the message is, if the car's got in an accident and you have done an assessment, even as a spectator, you don't move closer. Do an assessment from a vintage point, maybe 3-5 meters away. Just confirm there is no risk of fire. And if the drivers are conscious, keep talking to them from afar until aid comes. Don't attempt to turn back the vehicles to its wheel. We saw that last year. It's done at goodwill, but it's a no-go zone. It's a no-go zone this time. Yes.
So viewers, you've heard that. Don't attempt to overturn the vehicles when they roll. Just keep your distance away until the specialized people or personnel come and help with that. So what of these cases when vehicles are changing stages and there are spectators trying to jump on them, catch them, like last time in town from KICC to will it be safe for such situations?
It is safe to the extent that the drivers, the vehicle is running, it's green, and we've not gotten any feedback. But again, this is technology. It could fail in as far as giving you the warning. Why would you want to risk? For example, How many times do you see these power lines you can see? So if they tell you this power line has no power today, we have a blackout, would you just want to go and touch it?
Touch it.
Just because you've been told there's no power?
No.
We've seen people being electrocuted thinking that is a no more power. Even guys from KPLC, we'll see them being electrocuted, and yet they're experts. So why would you want to touch a vehicle like that? Best thing is, have your fun, but just keep away from the vehicles.
Keep away from the vehicles.
Yes.
So on to the next question. What do you think? What's the future of the sport in the next 10 years?
Well, the future of the sport is, first of all, from the FIA point of view, there's a drive to ensure that the sports grow from the grassroots. We've seen them pushing a lot on, women. They have special packages for women in motorsports, which is a good thing. We'd want to see a lot more women in the sports. But also from the young talents, we've seen them with very good initiatives for the youngsters. The Safari Rally Youngster program is one such program that we want to see, and it's not just from the FIS point of view, but it's also from the manufacturer's point of view. But we also want to see that trickle down to sponsors identifying young talents from young age, and growing with them through and through. The likes of Baldev Chaga started off as a karter. He used to do karting. And I'm thinking, there are so many children in autocross, in karting, in motocross that we can identify and bring them into motorsports. But you let corporate companies come and identify these talents and run with them. Yes.
So speaking of women, it was great to see you out there supporting the Lioness inaugural rally event. How was it for you?
Beautiful, man. Let me tell you, it was well organized, and it was a big challenge to certain clubs, a number of clubs, to see women coming together and organizing such a successful event. And this is a challenge we need to keep seeing, and it doesn't have to be women. Whenever we see a good thing, it should be a challenge to inspire other clubs or other organizations to follow suit. So it's a beautiful event.
Awesome. And speaking of young people, what were your parents involved with sports while you were young?
My parents were never involved in sports at all, unless they did this discreetly. I'm not aware. There's no concrete evidence that they were in sports.
They were in sports.
But my mom used to play netball. That's what she says. So I would want to believe that she did that, because I don't see any evidence. But she's still fit, probably that's the only evidence I can talk about. My late dad, I never ever heard anything about motorsports from him. He was a fit guy.
So how did you get into sports? I mean, your background is no one sporty, or the cousins, or it was just, man?
I don't know, really. It's still a mystery how I got involved in motorsports. But generally, I've been a sports guy.
Okay.
I used to play football until I tore my muscle. But I also used to be in martial arts. I was in the national team.
Wow.
For karate in 1997.
Kenya national team.
Yes.
Kumbe ndio maana unasomanga watu hivi pole pole. This guy looks calm always, but anaweza kuchapa.
I don't chapa people. I don't chapa people. So that's when I actually got my black belt in 1997.
Wow.
And prior to that, I was an instructor at Kenyatta University. I was instructing the karate team there for Kenyatta University. I also was in the taekwondo team.
Okay.
So I loved it. I think I need to go back. If there's anything that I really need to do again, it's probably go back to martial arts.
Martial arts. And you can do it, I believe. So
not with my pot.
No, that you can work it out. Once you're a sportsman,
Yeah.
you can, since you have the endurance, the pain that goes through with shedding it off. You can endure. You can endure through the pain.
Yeah.
I know you can do it if you decide to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not with the 60 years.
Not
that
with
we have. Why are you surprised? Well, I'm not 60, but I'm old enough. Yes.
Yeah. So, how is it for you having your children around you in the motorsport space that you've been through all those years, and you're slowly nurturing them into the sport? How is it for you? Just at times, just standing out there and seeing, yeah, that's my son, that's my daughter.
It's very beautiful. I'll tell you, the karting environment is a family-oriented environment, and it's good to see children do what they know best, karting, and it's a discipline by itself. I mean, they get involved in it. They have no time for vices.
Yeah.
So I generally for children involved in motorsports, to me, I give a nod. But to see my kids also involved in motorsports, much as I didn't influence them, I don't know, they can speak for themselves. Maybe I did, but I never told them they must do what they're doing.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was the 5th or 6th birthday for my son, and we decided to go for karting at Carnival. And we called in friends, and at the end of the day, we left Carnival to go have lunch. And we forgot him. We forgot the birthday boy. What? Because he was on the track.
He was on the track.
So we had many people. So we thought he's in one of the cars with the friends.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't there. So only for us to get to Carnival. And where's the birthday boy? He's not there. So we go back and we find him still racing on the track.
Yeah. and that's how his passion started.
That's how this passion started. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and your daughter, how's it for her?
For her, I think it is this sibling rivalries. I think he saw that he can't be beaten by the brother. So he said, I cannot be left behind. She's very aggressive. She's an aggressive driver. But she's also torn between motorsports and music, because she's also very passionate about music. So he said, where you want to follow your dream, we will push you to that direction. We will help you, not push. We will help you achieve your dream. So she does motorsports, and she also does music. Okay. So in sports, at times there are some strategies, or there are some different methods or ways in which different federations of different sporting events or sport disciplines can learn from each other. What good experience that you have at Motorsport that you can talk about for other sporting disciplines to learn? If it's because I've been in motorsport since 2019, and I've been in basketball since 2006. But the way you guys handle corporates, the way you guys handle your marketing, the way you guys handle your planning is totally different with other sports. And I don't know what do you guys do different than that other sports can learn? I don't know whether we do it any different, but I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, the first advice is, and this comes from the people in the motorsports, or rather in sports generally, is understand what the rules are. Follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
I would love to see, even in motorsports, drivers, organizers alike, all understanding what our national competition regulations are about.
Yeah.
There will be few issues. In fact, the more people understand these rules, the better for us to take the sports forward. Because you can't change what you don't know.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So that's number one. Number two, the motorsports environment is a very good platform for corporate to come in, to plug in.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure whether the financial bill, I think it was the financial bill of 2016, if I'm not wrong, but I stand corrected, that encouraged sponsorship of sports, and by which the corporates would use the sponsorship amount as a tax benefit. I'm not a financial guy, so if I define it
the wrong way.
The wrong
It's
way,
okay.
please forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's that sort of incentive for corporates to come in and plug into, sponsoring sports in general. And you can do that from a corporate point of view. You can do that from a driver's or an individual point of view. You can sponsor Kipchoge as an individual. Yeah. And I'm sure there are benefits. And even if they are not, but they're still benefit. They're not. Even if we do not have, tax-related benefits, there are other benefits, because these are billboards. These are brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
These are people who can very easily, push your brands forward. There's this element of, because this guy is running a Nike shoe, he's running with the Nike shoe, then that Nike shoe must be contributing to his success.
Yeah.
There's that sort of, perception.
Yeah.
And marketing is about perception.
Perception. Yes.
Yeah. So I'd love to see more corporates coming in.
Yeah.
So if we do that any different, I don't know. To me, I know Motorsports is a very good platform, and we've seen a good number of companies coming through. And these companies do not necessarily need to have any relationship with Motorsports.
Yeah.
It could be a shoe company. It could be an agricultural company. The other day we would see Green Who sponsoring Evans Kavisi.
Greenleaf? No,
Green Life.
Green Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is awesome. We want to see more of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily need to have anything to do with motorsport. It doesn't have to be oil and fuel and engines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for as long as you just know that this is a billboard, as a free billboard, and you're building brand ambassadors, you take it up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on to the quick fire segment. How do rally drivers recover?
I don't know.
In terms of maybe your time, how? Because I think it's really strenuous.
It is.
In a car, whole day. Tomorrow, whole day. About 3 days or 4 days.
I don't know whether they ever recover, but if they do, they do it differently. I would take a day off, or the best thing is you keep hydrating prior to the event.
Okay.
If you hydrate prior to the event, during the event, you find that it's not as strenuous as if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hydrating. So that means prep. So early preparation, hydrating is very critical. Yeah. At times I would use some supplements. Yeah. Some salts. Yeah. And minerals.
Yeah.
To help me recover.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, the best recovery is just taking a day off, doing nothing.
Just resting.
Resting. I love sleeping. Whenever I get opportunity,
You sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is also because you miss at times sleepless nights preparing for these events.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
By sleep, if I miss it, is a debt. It has to be paid somewhere, somehow, someday. Yeah.
Your best sports documentary?
Drive to Survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's an F1 documentary. It talks about the real life of these F1 drivers, their managers, their life behind the racing track. Beautiful.
I'll check it out. I think I will.
Oh yes. Now season 4 is coming. I think it's ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive, right?
Drive to Survive.
Your best sports athlete in the world?
Kipchoge.
With an Eliud.
Kipchoge, Kenyan, and then out there is Tiger Woods.
So why Kipchoge?
He's endured. I mean, he's defied the odds. You can see him. He's very humble. Very, very down to earth, and that I treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a hero. He's broken all sorts of records you can think about.
Yeah.
But he's still at it.
Yeah.
And you see the kind of discipline. He's not a flashy guy.
True.
Yeah.
Very disciplined.
Very disciplined.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging. And for Tiger Woods, I know he went through a serious challenge a couple of years back, but to see him back to the top,
yeah,
it's just an amazing. It means that it doesn't matter how hard you fall, you can still arise.
You can still arise.
Yeah.
Definitely, you can still arise. It was great having you. Thanks a lot for this opportunity with us. And viewers out there, just stay safe when the rallies come in which month? June?
June 22nd to 26th. Tufike
Yes.
salama.
Tufike salama tafadhali.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Asante.
Nice having you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
My name is Matanya Mbai. I'm 17 years old. I go to St. Christopher's International School and I'm currently doing my A-levels.
My name is Miles Mbai. I'm 15 years old and I'm also in St. Christopher's International School and I'm in year 11.
Awesome, awesome. So, how did you get to know about karting?
One day we went for a birthday, I suppose. So we were introduced to these karts. So later on, my brother and I showed interest. So therefore, my dad brought us into racing. Yeah, and that's how we started karting.
As you've heard from him, I was left alone. So at that point, I got everything I had all the carts to myself, the track to myself. So I tried to do some laps and then from there, I just kept showing interest on it. And I wanted to continue again and again. Yeah.
So maybe Miles, did you get to see people live on that day? How was it? Or you were just let me just keep on driving?
Yeah, I didn't even notice that they left
Uh-huh.
until it took a long time. Yeah,
You never got worried. You're just comfortable
yeah, it was.
and confidence at on the course, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, awesome. So, Martina, probably if you can tell us, what else do you do apart from autocross or karting?
Mostly school and music.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a musician. I am in various organizations like the Kutukuza Choir led by Doris Mayoli. And I also do orchestra on the side in school, and I sing. Yeah, so I play instruments. Yes, so I do music, and I'm also in school focusing on my future to be in the health facilities.
Apart from karting, I consider doing football in school and I also do swimming. I normally do them as a hobby because I'm not very serious on them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and in school, of course, I have to read, plan for my future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you mentioned swimming and football, so that means you can run as well, right?
Yes.
Have you ever considered triathlon?
I had no.
So how do you get to balance all this? Schoolwork, the sports, karting, family time at your age, 17 years old.
It's a bit hard, not gonna lie, it's hard, because I'm in school Monday to Friday, no stop, Monday to Friday. Probably on Saturdays and Sundays is where I can either go for karting, and most Saturdays I'm in the tour choir, so that's how I balance it. So weekdays is for school, weekends is for karting and music.
No family time?
Family time is like probably like after school.
Uh-huh.
After I'm done with my homework, I sit down, we watch probably a movie or a show that we usually watch together. Yeah, that's how I spend time with my family.
Pretty much the same to me, other than after school I can go for some activities like football, those sports that I mentioned. And then afterwards, like now it's when I can spend time with my family, watch movies, make dinner, those things.
Oh, you love cooking?
Not very much. She's one who loves.
Okay, so who do you look up to as a mentor in either of the disciplines you're involved in, or life, or?
As a musician, I look up to Whitney Houston. She's one of the best music R&B soul singers ever to have lived. I love her confidence. I love her music. It inspires me so much. Motorsports wise, personally, I like Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is a F1 driver. Other than him being a good driver, I love his personality. His personality is very vibrant. He's never annoyed. He's always happy. He always finds the good in things. So that's what makes me like him.
Motorsports wise, I would think either Max Verstappen or Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel, because ever since I started karting, I've been watching him. Ever since he was in Red Bull, he was very good. He was winning championships, all races. Yeah. Then moving to Ferrari, that's when I think it went downhill. So I suppose I chose Max Verstappen. Also, Max is very young and talented. Yeah, that's why I also choose him as how I look up to. But football-wise, I think Lionel Messi, because he's also very skillful and talented. Yes.
As a woman and a young woman in motorsport, I'd just like to say that anything a man can do, a woman can do, if not better. So don't be discouraged by F1 being a men's sport. No, don't be discouraged by that. Anything a man can do, a woman can do better.
Just because of age, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be involved in a sport. So come anytime, come for karting. We need numbers, of course. Yeah, and join us. It will be fun at some point.
So how can someone join karting? What's the process or procedure like for an interested young person like you to join the sport?
First of all, you need a kart. If you'd want to actually start professional racing, you need a kart, like the ones behind here. So it depends on your age. So basically, if you're around 5 to 7, you start in the 50cc category, which is a smaller kart. If you're around 8 to like 13, that's where you go to the 60cc category, and from 13 all the way to 18, which is us basically, you're in the Rotax, which are these ones, junior Rotax category, and senior Rotax is from 18 and above. So age is not limited. Even though you're 20, even though you're 4 years old, join karting. It's a fun experience. I want to do rally. Feel rally is where I'll, be very persistent, other than maybe autocross or F1. F1 is it's very high class, so I think rally would work for me. Yeah.
Mainly for me, I would choose autocross first because it will help me get the basics of how to drive a big car like this one. And then from there, I can now start rallying and then become maybe an iconic legend like Baldev Chaga, for example, Carl Tundo, one of them.